if he's concluded that firing Mueller and Rosenstein is not worth the political fallout, and his response was, they're still here, that's not really closing the door on any future action, is it?
No, it's not at all. This president offers knee-jerk reactions all the time. And as we remember, this president was thinking about changing the hierarchy of the Justice Department to make sure that either Mueller could be fired or that he would be restrained. This president is very upset with this investigation, and it just depends upon which way the wind blows, what happens at any moment in time. This president does not want this investigation to continue, and he's very upset, and it's all about right now following the trail of money, which he does not like. And we know that because he did not even want to offer his taxes for public consumption, even though it's not law that he had to, even that on the last day of tax filing tonight. So this is all about the president not liking this, and let's see what happens, what more charges come out, what charges come from this, and it all depends upon all of that, how the president will respond. This president is very reactionary.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, we all know, you were mentioning the taxes. The reason that he didn't, one main reason that he didn't do it is because he didn't think he was going to win. And so why put all of your information out there when you don't believe that you're going to have
won. Why not put the information out now?
So now it's a different story, but that is what happened. So Ryan, listen, the question was specific to Mueller and to Rosenstein, but this is how the president began his answer. Watch this.
There was no collusion, and that's been so found, as you know, by the House Intelligence Committee. There's no collusion. There was no collusion with Russia other than by the Democrats, or as I call them, the obstructionists, because they truly are obstructionists. So we are giving tremendous amounts of paper. This was really a hoax created largely by the Democrats as a way of softening the blow of a loss, which is a loss that, frankly, they shouldn't have had from the standpoint that it's very easy for them. They have a tremendous advantage in the Electoral College.
So the president, Ryan, brought up Podesta. He talked about the DNC server. Listen, I was on my way to work listening. I don't think he brought up Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, which would be interesting, but he does keep going back, reaching for those greatest hits. And it's kind of like, hey, look over there.
I mean, so much to unpack there. One, the House Intelligence Committee, well, I think they didn't finish their investigation, right? So they did not, there are many witnesses that were outside of their reach. It is true that apparently the Republicans on that committee are going to argue that they didn't find conclusion. The minority will argue and has been arguing that they never actually got to the bottom of that question. So that's the first thing to say about that part of the answer. The thing that really sticks out to me is embedded in that answer when he's talking about the server at the DNC and the FBI never looking at that. Think about what he's saying there. He's again raising the idea that maybe the DNC hack was something else, that the FBI missed it. He's raising the idea that Russia, that what the conclusion of his own intelligence services is not true. That the hack of the DNC might have been some other entity, maybe some 300-pound person sitting in his bed, as Trump once said. But again,
he said 400. But go on.
Was it 400? Andre the Giant. But so that to me is he's still he resorts when on the topic of Russia he resorts to these far out statements.
It could be a 98-pound weakling too. We don't want to fat shame someone, but go on, Dan.
Don, so going to far out statements, but it's also he's tried to divert from the question, talking about the Democrats and the question of was there any collusion between the Trump team, anybody in that orbit, and Russians? And the real answer to that question is that the FBI, and we know even more about this since James Comey is out and about talking about this in his book, started an investigation in the summer of 2016 based on things that they picked up from Carter Page and maybe even Papadopoulos, conversations that they were having that were worrisome. And that's how the investigation started. Yeah. It is not, some political hoax done by the Democratic administration that was in there. Now, listen, it could very well be that at the end of the day, Robert Mueller does not find collusion as the president is talking about. But we don't know the answer to that. And then one other point I want to make really quickly is that what struck me with him talking about collusion over and over again is almost a reminder that that's what this is supposed to be about. And that the Mueller team is looking at other things like obstruction of justice and who knows what else, maybe his finances. Well, and that was kind of a reminder.
Yeah, and let me so here's a directive. Any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump and any matters that arose and may arise directly from that investigation. Now, you keep saying there's no collusion, there's nothing there. Papadopoulos
there are a lot of links.
Pleaded guilty. Michael Flynn pleaded guilty. Paul Manafort was indicted. Rick Gates, a plea deal with the Mueller team on one conspiracy charge. Russian nationals, 3 Russian companies were indicted.
To be fair, they're not about. It's not
but
about.
It's still,
specifically
it has arisen from this investigation, and if you're going to talk about it, then you need to give the whole scope of the investigation. I'll give you the last word quickly, please, April. Sorry.
You know, I just think it reminds me of, once again, what happened with Bill Clinton in the 90s. You know, it started with Whitewater, and then it wound up with Monica Lewinsky. Yeah. And as we're seeing all of this, and my earpiece once again pops out, as we're seeing all this, we have to remember that whatever they find while they're looking at collusion, it's like Chris Darden said, former prosecutor in the O.J. Simpson trial, if the police are going in looking for drugs and they see the wife being beaten, they have to bring that into. Yeah. And that's going to be what we're going to see. We're seeing a whole scope of different things. It starts with collusion, but it's unfolding into other things.
I got to run. My favorite line of the night, though. Did you guys have a favorite line of the night? I was listening. The Olympics line. Did you guys catch that?
No.
It could not go off without him.
We made it great. Don Lemon, I think you made the Olympics great, just because.
I was like, that's a good one. So I enjoyed that. Thank you all. I appreciate it. See you next time. James Comey sits down with Jake Tapper live on The Lead tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. When we come back, more on our breaking news tonight. One of President Trump's longtime lawyers doesn't trust his other lawyer, claiming Michael Cohen could be wearing a wire. Can the president trust his own fixer?
كم تبلغين من العمر يا فتاة ولماذا تسألني يا رجل أليس من العيب أن تسأل امرأة عن سنها سكرتك أمك لقد وجدت بعلا لقد وجدت لقد وجدت بعلا أنا لا أصدق نفسي لا تعرف اقعد
ما كانت تتحدث معي الآن إنني شككت في أعيني فهل هي جسي أم لن تكون في كحة
إطلام إطلام